This episode is sponsored by Gamergy, the gaming energy drink made by gamers for gamers. Check it out in 4 great flavors: Purple Nurple, Red Alert, Binary Blue, and Epic Green.
Yep, sit down front, and then we're going to ask you questions.
Okay. Yeah, there'll be a test afterwards.
All right. Greetings, citizens. We are the 501st Legion, and we costume as Star Wars characters, as you may be able to tell. More specifically, the Legion is the international organization, and then it's broken down into subgroups. So the upper Midwest, which we're part of, is covered by the Central Garrison. And then that's we're pretty spread out because of the relatively low population density. For example, like New York City has like 2 garrisons to themselves. So, but we have North and South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska, all under the Central Garrison. And even that's a pretty widespread. So we break it down in the Central Garrison even further into squads, and there's 1 squad for each state. And so we here are part of the Korriban squad, which is Iowa, except for my Mandalorian friend over here, who has his own organization that I'll have him speak about in a little bit. He's part of the Mandalorian mercenaries. So, what do? We go around to events like this, conventions. We also do, you may have, I recognize some of you from lots of events, but you'll see us doing things like Star Wars Night and baseball games, hockey games. We'll be at the Waterloo Bucks this summer for their Star Wars Night. And, yes, and of course we do charitable events as well. On May 4th this year, we'll be going down. We'll have a couple events actually. One is down.
You guys can come on in.
Yeah, definitely.
This is informal. Come on in. Cheers.
Feel free to interrupt.
But you did miss all the information that will be covered in the quiz.
It's a great quiz. There'll be no prizes.
No study guides either.
But if you fail, there will be punishment. Binders.
Yeah, so on May 4th we have several events. One of them we're going to be down at the University of Iowa Children's Hospital doing a visit there. And then my stormtrooper over here, Chris, has another event that he'll be leading.
Yeah, it's going to be at Fort Frenzy in Fort Dodge for the Lymphoma Leukemia Society. And it's a
little fundraiser for them.
It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
So the 501st is the largest international group of individuals. This is all volunteer. Nobody gets paid to be here. Everybody buys their own uniforms unless someone outgrows them because we get too fat, and then we donate them to guys like this because there's no fat on him at all. So, but there's a garrison on every continent on the planet. So
except Antarctica.
No, they opened up last year.
Oh, did they?
Research station. A research station. There's one guy, and he actually started a garrison.
We're somewhere like almost 12,000 strong right now worldwide.
And some of the money we raise, how much did they just raise for the Make-A-Wish Foundation? Is that?
Oh, yeah, 800-some thousand.
Right.
So the Legion as a group is putting together like I don't know, is it called like a trust or an endowment? Yes, that's what it's called. That they'll then, like endowments work, I think you put them in investments and then they pay out, some every year to do ongoing charitable work. But we sold Legion T-shirts last year, and usually Legion merchandise isn't like allowed to be sold to non-members. But we did one run last year and raised about $800,000. So,
and part of the reason for that is, this is Star Wars and it's all owned by Disney, so no one's allowed to make a profit except Disney. So everything we do has to be volunteer, and it has to be, amongst ourselves as fans. So it's not something. So like the armor we're wearing or the clothes we're wearing, normally you can't go buy that and have it qualify for our organization like off the rack. Most of it needs to be tweaked and modified. So all of these guys, you know, their armors came in pieces, and they had to connect all of them together, put all the strapping in, all the foam pieces,
And then
electronics,
and then
size it,
to
yeah.
yourself.
Because
Yeah.
as you can see, everyone's different heights and shapes, but there's only one kind of armor, so you learn to cut and make it fit.
There's a whole, our website, the 501st website, there's a whole costume reference library. And we are meticulous on detail, on everything. There's stuff that people think is great that just does not hold to our standards. There's, even the movie stuff sometimes doesn't even hold to our own standards, but we do all this just because we enjoy it.
It's true, but anytime someone talks about our rigorous standards, I always like to make sure to throw in that we very much want to help any prospective members meet those standards. They're not like some wall to keep people out. So if you show interest, if you come talk to us or send us a message on the website saying that you're interested, I will hook you up with websites, and if you want to be a stormtrooper, I might send you to Chris or Matt or someone else, and they can direct you to the right kit suppliers and the right parts and neck seals and every little thing, so you don't go wrong and end up wasting money on something that's not going to pass. So we're kind of strict, but we're also very helpful in trying to help new people.
Part of that's to
join.
maintain a standard,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the original guys who did this kind of came up with, we didn't want everyone wearing cardboard. Because there's cardboard stormtroopers, they're hilarious, especially when there's little kids. Those are the best costumes ever. They wanted something above a Halloween costume. And so, like I said, we had an armor party on the 25th. I don't know how many people went, I had to work.
There were four
Okay,
four people there.
and then they had all these, so I mean, it was set up, and everyone that knew everyone, it's like, oh, who's bringing their armor, bring your friends, and everyone went to someone's garage. It was heated. And they all kind of brought their stuff, and they all, yeah, hopefully. And that's kind of the thing you do. It's a group, and I mean, we all troop together. We all kind of know each other. We're on a Facebook group that goes off way too often with alerts. Wakes you up like.
Yeah, we have a group Facebook, messaging chat with like 40 people on it because it's all of the Iowa group. So I have a Vader up in Mason City who his free time, he works during the day and has a family, so his free time is like late at night, after his kids have gone to bed. So he gets on at about midnight. Anytime he does chat, he starts up at midnight, and all of the, my phone just starts blowing up with notifications because other people join in and talk too. So
We're a giant family worldwide.
And I guess we'll just hit a couple things that always get asked. First one's, how long does it take to build your armor? Well, there's people like me. I've had mine for months. It's still not in this kind of shape. It's not even glued. It's all laid out.
you're talking about your set of trooper
No, I have trooper armor.
Yeah, your set
So,
of
so for instance, I've had it and it just hadn't gotten around to it. An average person could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months to get a set like this cut, put together, depending on how much time you have. Versus someone like you who he had to go buy all these individual pieces because there's no one person that sells everything. So tell them about where some of your stuff came from, because that's always fun.
Well, we have a quick question here.
Oh, do you?
I was just wondering, would you guys mind breaking down, like we know TK Stormtroopers, but I don't want to leave them out. Would you guys mind telling everyone and everyone watching who you are or what you are, real quick? So
Let's go down through the ID number.
okay, I'm gonna.
All right, I'll start. I'm TK 10772, aka Chris Scott from Fort Dodge.
Okay.
I'm SL 80910, which is Sith Lord. I'm Darth Revan from the Expanded Universe, and I'm from Marion, Iowa.
The best Sith Lord from the Expanded Universe.
I'm ID 34365. I am more or less patterned on Admiral Piet. My name is Andrew, and I am the current squad leader of the Quarterbomb Squad.
Okay.
I'm TK 50613, go Cedar Falls. That's my name.
No. This is something I rarely do. It's like, he's old. Yes, I am. I am Shema, custom Mandalorian with the Mandalorian Mercs, and my name is Rick.
I'm TI-12230. I'm a TIE pilot, which is my armor over there. And I'm from Ankeny. So,
Jolly Rogers.
and you'll notice
Come on in.
Yeah,
we have
There's
all
a chair right front. You can sit right there. Yeah.
As long as you don't mind being on camera now.
Some are different. I mean, there's stormtrooper groups, there's officer groups, Sith Lords, TIE pilots, so that we can help each other get the best armor, the best
Your first place to start is
locations.
501st.com.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So
Questions, places to find, you start there.
Yeah, so Stephen there is talking about detachments. Like I was saying, there's like regional groupings, but there's also, like he was saying, groupings by like costume group. So when I, wanted to join up and start pulling together the pieces to be an officer, the officers of various kinds have their own website, so you have experienced people again to tell you what to get, where to get, how to get your boots to fit you, because I can't have
That's
like
important.
zippers or you gotta have good boots, so you don't want to mess that up. And then the Jolly Rogers or the TIE Pilots group, so they have their own little community, and the First Imperial Stormtrooper Detachment, they probably have about as much work as anybody to help their people. There's a lot that goes into being a Stormtrooper, for sure. And then, of course, you're actually with Flagship Eclipse,
Flagship Eclipse. Yeah.
which is the group for Expanded Universe characters. So, and there's a whole bunch more.
There's a Rebel Legion, which is where your Jedis go. Just like there's the Mandalorian mercs. And
Right.
So they
But
have
tho-
their
but
own-
Don't join
those-
the Mandalorian. Don't join the
Don't join the
Rebels,
Rebels.
please.
So I mean, there's groups for everybody, and we typically all work together. My wife's a Jedi, and she'll troop with us as well. So I mean, it's one of those where, as a Star Wars family, we welcome all of our compatriots together because it's always more fun to have.
The
It is.
more
It's-
people you have.
If you don't have good guys and bad guys, then it's not fun. And we do have a shortage of good guys, so if anybody does want to be a Jedi,
Come on in.
Please look
There's
into that.
another Stormtrooper.
Hey, it's another Stormtrooper.
All right.
Hi. Little Stormtrooper.
This might be a good time, Rick, for you to talk a little about the Mercs as your own group.
Sure. Like I said earlier, I'm Rick Maxwell from Ames, and I'm the state captain for the Mandalorian Mercs. Originally, there were just I guess originally there was the 501st, and then Rebel Legion, and for some reason people like Mandalorians. I don't know. But yeah, but this group started up officially, I believe, in 2007, as it was just a fan group, and then we organized under Lucasfilm's guidelines, the same that the other groups have, as the third official Star Wars group. Currently, we have just over 1,700 members. When I became official in 2014, I was number 1,000. So you can see we're growing pretty quickly. And so if anybody's interested, I have cards. So,
That's supposed to be what all those pockets are for.
that's not your card. But the rest of these are, if anybody's interested, we do have cards. And I'll set them right here.
There you go.
Right now, like I said, we have just over 1,700 members, and the whole concept behind the Mandalorian Mercs, there's a quote in one of the Rebel Commando books that talks about a three-pointed blade. One of the Mandalorian icons in there, Cal Scarata, carried a three-edged blade. Probably looked like a trench knife from World War I. And he said, most people think there's only good and evil, but Mandalorians are the third edge. So that was kind of the idea of having three different official costume groups. We do have our own charities as well. We have Little Warriors International, which I believe last year raised just over $500,000 for basically we deal with children's groups. If there's bullying, disadvantage, that's the sort of charities that we give to through our Little Warriors International. Trying to think what else we do.
Comms on the fritz.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun group, and like the others, you know, we just felt there was something there, that a void that needed to be filled, and that's what we do. Oh, as far as the kids, because Mandalore is a planet, and we are varied in who we fight for and with, we're allowed to do custom kits. My kit, I call this Shama, which is, it just sounded good. But it's, we have a lot of canon characters. Of course, you all know Jango and Boba Fett. There's Jaster and others that are from either the comics or the expanded universe. But most of us are custom. You know, we come up with an idea. My kit is a medium-heavy armor, and it's modern in style. But we have almost medieval-looking kits from early Mandalorians. Yes.
I'm a huge fan of the Old Republic Mandalorians. They're some of my favorites. Could you? I went to the Mandomercs website because I'm actually, you know, I'm an all-around Star Wars fan,
Good.
and I've actually started designing my own. How many of those do you think there are out there?
Very few. And honestly, just last month, we just got a new official member who
Okay.
is awesome. You need to get on there. If you look at the welcome thread for new official members, I believe it was the batch before last. This guy's amazing.
Okay.
So it looks like Mandalore the United.
Oh,
He's
wow.
Full kit, the robes and everything. So, yeah.
All right.
So any like I was saying, you know, as far as 501st, any even expanded universe, if you can prove that existed and make the kit, you're in. They do take time. Mine from conception to completion was about 14 months, but I did use metal, so it takes one. You know, can take one. Most people use Centra, which is a expanded plastic sort of material that you can just heat up, and it works fairly easily. But I never could get the compound pins that I wanted to make them look like. So,
What questions do you guys have?
all right, let's start with you. I gotta make this look good for the camera. Somebody has a question. Yes.
Alright, so what's the shortest time that it takes to put together a costume to the longest, and then cost-wise?
Probably mine was
Oh,
the
reserve officer.
reserve. As pilots, we've got a couple different ones. The simple one is the reserve pilot, which is basically what I'm wearing right now without my armor, and then I've got the same type of hat that Andrew has on. And
Except in black.
except it has to be in black in that case. The reason it was brought about because of the amount of time it takes sometimes to get our armor. It was all we had was just full-blown pilots. You can get an already made flight suit a couple different places. They range anywhere from $80 to about $140 for the flight suit, and then your shin-high boots. Any engineer level boots, full leather, you can get them for $100, give or take, and then the belt and the hat. And the hats, there's several different places you can find them on Etsy. Officers have got tons of different locations to find them. They're $20 to $50. It's not really that bad. Once you hit armor, your price jumps unless you can find used armor. But yeah, reserve pilot officers are a little bit more because their boots are more expensive, most likely, and they're
Oh yeah.
They have doodads.
and all the other little things. But yeah, and compads, none of it's that bad. I think this from start to finish was about a month because everything I didn't have to make anything. So I think said and done, it was about $400 for me to do this, and that's probably about the cheapest you can get. I've since upgraded to a different flight suit and got my armor and stuff, but that's probably about the cheapest and easiest way to get in.
Right, because like you were saying, a TIE reserve pilot, you know, is a great starter uniform. A, because it's cheap, and B, I mean, it is the base of your full TIE, you know, TIE stuff. So you just needed to get the armor and the helmet, and all of a sudden you're a TIE pilot, and you didn't like waste a lot of effort or you know, stuff like that.
$400 sounds expensive, but you don't do this all at once. You get one piece and then another.
And even the kits for these guys, the kit for Stormtrooper is more than $400. So, you got a question?
Do you usually just like order stuff online, or do you just like buy it from people in real life?
All the above.
All of the above.
There are guys out there that almost not quite make a living, but do the armor and stuff as a hobby. Flight suits, there's places out there that make just this. For example, this one's from a website called Wampaware, and they have a lot of stuff, not just for pilots. They're a good source for some of the cloth material for both Rebel and Imperial.
I'm in the process of building a shore trooper from Rogue One, and my blaster, it's coming from Ireland. My comma, that's coming from England. My armor came from Florida. So yeah, it's people
Well,
just worldwide. They're
This is
passionate
just
about
3D printed. They make a guy in Illinois makes them. There's several different ones around. So some stuff you can find locally. We have a guy in Newton makes our belts. So
Hold it up. There you go. Thank you. Sorry.
yeah, just a simple comm pad. Usually pilots and a couple others don't really use them. But there's also, if you didn't want to do a pilot, there's a few other soft costumes that are pretty similar.
Good question about this guy, Rick.
What's usually the most expensive part of the armor?
The hard parts.
Yeah,
Anything that's plastic or more.
yeah. I don't know. I'd say
Helmets for the.
You want the good quality ones, yeah.
That's the most expensive part of my kit. But I work with raw materials. I had this belt, the leather one. The rest of this was cheap and free because it took me. There's 3 schools of thought. There's fast and expensive, slow and cheap, and somewhere in between. You know, if you take your time and shop and use your contacts, which work through these websites, lots of great contacts there. Like they were talking about outsized armor. Hey, I'm getting rid of this cheap. You know,
That's how I actually got my armor. My helmet was somebody else's. He was moving on to something else. I got it at a reasonable, if you want to say, reasonable, for what it is, price. So, otherwise I'd still just be in soft costume.
Question, buddy?
Going down the line, which are each of your favorite Star Wars costumes?
What I'm wearing.
yeah.
Do
Start
we
out.
own or we like to own? Because, you know, if I was like a foot taller, I'd love to be Vader.
I can pull that one off.
I'm just a little too short.
Everybody loves stormtroopers, so you know, I really think that's either clone trooper or, gosh, yeah, probably one of the clone troopers.
I'd say for me it'd probably be Rex if I'm gonna do one. There's always Vader. There's always Palpatine. There's, you know, but at the same time it's kind of hard to have 3 people being Vader at the same event. So,
Is
Which
there
way-
any Yodas?
I don't know. You
No,
you have to look at Rebel Legion.
We have Jawas.
Yeah, we have Jawas. They're actually pretty easy. They're not too horribly expensive
Yeah,
either.
they're a pretty good costume. Also, in addition to you know regular members, it's pretty easy to costume a kid in a Jawa as like a starter costume too.
Jawas are
someone
from the
that's a
Rebel Legion,
seamstress.
though, correct?
No.
They're not? I thought Tuscans were part of the Empire and Jawas were Rebel Legion.
They're both part of the
Oh, okay.
501st.
I've been taught something.
Pretty much anything that's not actually Rebel in the movies is in the 501st.
Okay.
You've got to prove you're a good guy to get into the Rebel.
That's right.
You got to prove it.
Well, I can just say I've been working towards joining for like a year now, and it's worth the patience, guys. It's not cosplay; it's costuming. So it just takes a lot of patience.
It
So
does. It really does. And,
I've literally shelved Sidious because I'm doing Jolly Roger just so I can get in the door.
you will get disenchanted with it at some point, but then you'll go to another con or hear about a friend going to a con. You start thinking, I really ought to. If you could just do one little thing each day, And it's funny because I wound up putting my stuff in front of the TV, so I'd sit there in front of the TV and weave this belt or punch holes in leather or whatever I needed to do, and it gets done that way. But there are times that you get to go, this is taking too long. I'm never going to finish this. And other times you're ready to finish it.
Rick made the comment about people doing events and you hear about it and you go and it revitalizes you. We just did one. When was it, Matt? When we were blind school, a couple months ago. Yeah, a month or so ago. Des Moines has a blind school. They had a Braille challenge, and we had 3 stormtroopers and me and clone trooper, and to see the looks on these kids' faces that we let them come up and manhandle us. These kids that have watched Star Wars all their life, even up to 20 years old, was there. And they've never actually been able to see how they see, to see what we look like. And that's what, to see the expression on their faces, that's why we do this.
Well, that's really great, guys. I mean, that's just.
Any other questions or anything? Yes.
Yeah, with the weapons and stuff, have you ever had any issues with certain venues,
There are some.
Some don't allow it.
Yep. When someone puts in a request, I get the request emails. They'll tell me the basic information, where it is, when it is, stuff like that. And then I respond with a list. I think I'm up to 9 questions now. That's one of the questions. Are blasters allowed? Are lightsabers allowed? It's not one of our usual questions, but at some theaters a couple years back when there were like some theater shootings and stuff, we weren't allowed to even have any masks or helmets on at certain theaters, because you never know who's under a stormtrooper helmet, I guess. But yeah, like a lot of times at school or school-related events, they'll ask us to leave the blasters behind because they look a little too much, like guns, right? But lightsabers are usually okay.
Well, actually, that's a Chicago screw and a snap. They come right off.
Well, no, but in terms of looking like.
Oh,
you got
yeah.
And actually, because in the movies they were based off of real guns.
World
So
War II vintage gun.
2x4
Yeah, well,
and a plumbing repair.
the grip in particular, when it's in the
Looks
holster.
like
Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to.
There are
Yeah.
some places where if they have the orange tips,
Yeah.
they'll allow that, or it's mandatory. You can't have any kind of weapon unless it has like a bright orange tip on it. I've been places where they piece bonded my lightsaber by putting a piece of string around it. I don't understand the logic of it, but if it makes them feel happy thinking, okay, put a piece of string around it, that's fine.
It's been checked.
We're happy we can bring them with and, let kids hold them and not have to worry that, somebody might get upset.
But that's the thing, you can always do this or, some kind of action thing. You don't really need guns. Yes.
I do apologize, guys. I have somewhere else I have to be, but I just wanted to do a quick, goodbye to you guys real quick and just say thank you so much for letting me feature you on my YouTube channel. And I love the 501st, everything they stand for and everything they do. I'm looking forward to trooping with you guys. I've already talked to Vader Dave. I'm getting my flight suit going, my belt going. I already got a hat thanks to Steve. So thank you so much, guys, for everything you do. I was really inspired by the Braille Society story. That was very beautiful. That was a very touching moment. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say, may the Force be with you guys. Thank you so much.
All right, see you later.